All right, this is Omar Cruikshank, the chairman of the North Hills Black Hall of Fame. I'm here with George Weldon. George is the representative of his mother, Shirley Weldon, who's going in as one of our educators. How you doing, George?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, your mother was amazing, and thank you for being a part of this.
Honored.
All right, so I'm going to ask you 5 questions. We call it 5 questions for a Hall of Famer.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
You sure?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, all right. First question, and like I was saying before, I want you to give your perspective on things also, as well as your mother's perspective. The best of your ability, of course.
Okay.
Relax, man. Shake
All right.
it. Yeah. We're gonna have fun. This is all family here. All right. First question: what legacy do you hope this honor leaves for those who follow in your footsteps or your mother's footsteps?
Sure. So my mother was the first in our family in her generation to graduate from college, and she was the first in our family to become a teacher. Thus, it probably, I want to say maybe 45 relatives in our family became teachers generations beyond.
Wow.
Just because of my mom.
Wow.
So I think her biggest legacy was, first of all, becoming a teacher, and then laying down the groundwork for others to follow.
That's amazing.
So whether I go to a relative's wedding or a funeral, someone will always come up to me and say, "I'm only a teacher because of your mom."
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, what did your family do before that? Do you know? Like before, were they? Did any of them go to school or do anything like that?
She was
before?
the first. She was the first to go to school.
So in a way, she kind of broke a generational curse. Not saying that they were bad people, but she showed a different path.
Definitely.
That's amazing.
Definitely. She shared the struggles. She said in the old days when our people would go to college, I grew up in Penland, and whenever they come over for Thanksgiving, all the different neighbors would say, "Hey, put this money in your pocket, you're going back to school," and just the encouragement and the push was always there.
I like that type of stuff, and especially in communities. If one succeeds, they all succeed.
That's right.
I live by that now, so I like that. If you could relive one moment from your journey or your mother's journey, which would it be and why?
Wow. You know what? I'm going to put it into a category. My mom and my dad also are the only two people I know who loved their job. And every day when I was a child till my teenage years, every day my mom went to work, she was always up here and excited about what the day was going to bring. And a lot of people, including me over my past careers, was never in the quote-unquote dream job or the job we wanted or a job that made us happy. So I think that her success is because she totally loved what she was doing and she felt that she was making a difference.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, I'm sure she had a couple rough days in '86.
She did.
When I was in her class.
I do remember when I was a teenager. As years passed, children became more bold, and somebody called her a foul name, and she was just so taken.
It definitely wasn't me. Yeah. My parents would have spanked me immediately.
She was just taken back by it. But I think after that happened, I think that's when she said, "You know what? Maybe I need to, look at retirement in the next 5 or 6 years as things were changing." Yeah.
Your mother. This will all be in, so it doesn't really matter. Your mother. Just to have that kind of heart to be able to deal with all these different personalities, and still wake up with a smile. That's a extremely special trait. That's something we should all, strive to be.
I agree.
What part of your contribution, or in this case your mother's, do you feel is the most misunderstood or overlooked?
I think probably the most misunderstood and overlooked is that she really stood up for our people. Obviously, she cared for all the children, but I can remember a few instances at school that were black related. And she could have just stayed on the sidelines and did nothing, but she stood up. And Mrs. Gaskins, who's my aunt, who taught us also often, I can remember one story in particular where a teacher was playing the old song "Old Man River," which was apparently a racist, offensive song in the old days. And when my mom and my Aunt June found out about it, they just stopped what they were doing and went right to the principal and wanted that teacher reprimanded. And it turned out to be a whole big thing. But thankfully, the principal at that time stood with my mom and my Aunt June and reprimanded that teacher. That basically brought her to tears with apologizing because it was due to ignorance. She didn't realize, that it was that offensive, but it was. So I always applauded my mom and my Aunt June for standing up at times where they could have just said, hey, you know what, I need this job, or, I'm going to remain silent. But they always stuck up for our kids.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm not going to guess which teacher that was. But,
I'm not going to.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. Like you said, it was out of ignorance. It wasn't out of malice.
Right.
Sometimes people just don't know. So
I agree.
All right. How did your lowest moment shape the person standing here today? Of course, on behalf of your mother.
Wow. I have to think of what one of her lowest moments was. I think there was a time, and she would probably kill me if she knew I was telling you this. I think there was a time in her career where she really thought she could have been a principal. And I think at the time she thought about maybe going that route. She might have felt she was too old at the time. Mm-hmm. And then I felt that she felt that the way some of the administrators treated some of the principals who she thought were successful, that really discouraged her from going that route.
Okay. Yeah. I wonder, are the principals union also, or just the teachers?
No, they're not union.
Okay, yeah. So they tend to get treated probably a little rougher.
Definitely.
All right. How are you feeling so far?
I'm feeling great.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
All right. What do you think your mother's induction says about the values of the North Hills community?
Wow, that's a great question. My mother loved the North Hills community, as well as she loved Upper Dublin. So she would be humbled, she would be honored to be receiving this award, but she was extremely humble and would definitely put the attention back on the children and the community. We grew up in Penland. The Smith family are my cousins in North Hills, so I spent a lot of time in North Hills as a kid.
There's a lot of Smiths.
And as welcome as I was growing up in Penland and friends in Amber, I always loved being in North Hills. And I can remember, even as a child, when I would go down there and hang out, as soon as people found out that Miss Weldon was my mom, my stock just raised to the highest, and I could basically do no wrong. So,
that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, but she, I think her legacy would be she loved the North Hills community, and they embraced her, and she embraced them.
Yeah, she's an amazing woman. All right, so that's the end of the 5 questions. Anything that you would like to say?
Well, one, I want to take the focus off of my mom and I put it back on you and applaud you for all that you have done, all that you continue to do. May the Lord continue to bless you in your journeys as you touch others and lift others up.
I appreciate that.
Certainly.
Thank you. Normally I'd get you to throw up the Crush Crew C's, but I'm not going to.
And congratulations to all the other award winners this evening.
All right, and we'll see you on June 13th.
Looking forward to it.
3 p.m. at the North Hills Community Center.
Looking forward to it. Bless you.
Yes, sir.
Thank